Gather round, kids! Let me tell you the scary tale of Jurassic Park. A long time ago, a man named John and his scientific friends played God by engineering dinosaurs from amber, fossilized mosquito blood, and frog DNA. Sounds dangerous, doesn't it? You need money for such an adventure, so John founded a company called InGen with investors. Since people love their money so much, they insured the park for millions of dollars. There was an accident, and a worker was killed by a big dinosaur. She was a clever girl. The insurance company panicked and sent a sleazy lawyer to ensure the park's safety for investors. The sleazy lawyer named Donald wants experts to vouch for the park's authenticity and safety. John goes on an adventure to find experts to assure investors that their money is safe. He finds two paleontologists, Alan and Ellie, a chaos theorist, Ian, and his two grandchildren, Lex and Tim, to prove the park is safe and amazing. John sends all of them on a tour of the park. The tour begins with an informative cartoon and a scary ride. Then the dinosaurs escape from their paddocks because cows and goats for dinner are very boring, and they eat people, destroy vehicles, and the park itself. Moral of the story, kids? Life finds a way, and don't mess with Mother Nature, even if you spared no expense. So hold on to your butts, kids. It's going to be a bumpy ride through Jurassic Park.
Welcome, dear Jurassicans, to Amblin' Through Cinema, a podcast dedicated to exploring the stories and film craft, defining the creative giants of the silver screen. Today, we are enjoying the awe-inspiring and frightening experience of Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park, released in 1993. I'm your host, Tyler Birch.
And this is Crystal.
All right, well, I hope you guys are ready for a supersized episode talking about Jurassic Park, the greatest film of all time.
Says you.
Says me and a lot of other people.
Don't bring them into this.
Look, all right, all the under 8-year-old boys in the world would agree with me, okay? And we are mighty, so good luck. So first off, we're going to talk about our first impressions. So Mom, why don't you go ahead and tell us about your first impression of Jurassic Park?
So sadly, I have no memory of my first viewing of this movie. I know I watched it with you quite a bit as you were growing up, so it was really cool to watch you do it because it made you so happy. Just all the time, every time. You never got tired of it. So it was amazing to see that kind of magic happen for you on the screen. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, who doesn't like dinosaurs?
They're scary, but also you can't stay away from them.
I know. Especially those cute little velociraptors. I mean...
Like they say, if not friend, why friend-shaped?
So everyone's dying to know about your first impression.
Yeah, so for me, this movie's special, but it's actually not my first Jurassic Park film. Jurassic Park 3 was the first movie I had seen in the series back in 2002 when we lived in Turkey. And I was terrified of it. For context, I was terrified of everything as a kid. I remember just hiding behind the couch because the Spinosaurus was really scary. That was my first introduction to the Jurassic Park franchise, but I've always loved dinosaurs since, growing up. They were always a huge thing. I still remember going to see Sue at the museum. And,
oh, yes.
Yeah, everything that's related to dinosaurs.
Okay, so funny story that I just thought of. We took you to one of the science museums. You were like 3 or something. We took you to see the dinosaur bones, and it scared you. We went and we were leaving, and they had this giant python on the ground. I mean, this thing was huge, like anaconda size.
Like real python? Or
yes,
just,
a real python. And it was like yellow and white. And you just walked right up to it, started petting it and talking to it. And I was like, what is happening here? He's scared of the dinosaur bones, which he loves. He loves dinosaurs. But this freaking big python, he's just walking up to it like he's his best friend. It must have been not as scary as the dinosaur bones.
Yeah.
So
I believe my first time watching it was when I was in Hawthorne visiting my grandmother. We went to the general store there, and we've talked about Hawthorne and how small it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a place that has like a Walmart. So we went to like the general store, and there was a VHS copy. I believe that was the first time I ever watched it at my grandmother's house on a big box TV.
Oh yeah,
on VHS. Not really understanding what I was getting into. And I mean, after watching that, like I was sold. I've read the book multiple times. I've always just really been into dinosaurs, and I love the science and the majesty of the movie. So just been a love affair since then, and I've been there every time a new movie's been released, and any kind of dinosaur content that comes out. I've even watched, like Camp Cretaceous on Netflix, the animated show, which was actually really good. It's very near and dear to my heart, and so getting to talk about it today is going to be a lot of fun. But
So one more story. When you were growing up, Barney was a big deal. He was a dinosaur.
he was, yeah.
And he was purple. So maybe that's where it started, with Barney.
Maybe. And
Yeah.
he was cool. Still remember playing the games and creating a maze of walls so that way my parkourers couldn't get out, and then deleting the fences and watching them getting attacked by the dinosaurs.
That was the Zoo Tycoon, right?
Yeah. The Dinosaur Zoo Tycoon before I started making like the Jurassic Park ones. I just remember I was just like, let's see how long they can last. Let's see what happens here. That wasn't concerning at all, I'm sure. Well, we're going to go ahead and move on, I think, to the Mr. DNA Explains, which is about stories and characters. And I know you guys, I'm sorry. This whole time I've just been doing a bit. It wasn't really Mr. DNA here.
What?
I know.
Who was sitting next to you then?
This is like Santa all over again. I get it. But this time, for real, he's here. So it's okay. We're good now.
Wow.
Yeah, we're square.
You're really big on our podcast. You just have no idea.
Yeah, kind of a mainstay. All right, kids. Mr. DNA here to teach you about CGI, which is also known as computer-generated images. What is CGI? How did the giant T-Rex end up on the movie screen? Well, have you ever played a video game? That video game began with someone drawing pictures on the page, like the T-Rex. Then, the makers of the game, also known as developers, give the computers instructions called coding to make the pictures of the T-Rex come to life on the computer screen. After that happens, the coding tells the computer how the pictures of the T-Rex move on the movie screen. Add some sounds and actors, and bingo, cinema DNA. So for characters, we're trying to do a new thing where we group them a little bit more together, try to get a little bit more organization. You know us, we're always, every single podcast episode, figuring out a way to out-organize ourselves.
Okay, wait. We're evolving.
We're evolving, yes. We're afraid of becoming extinct, so we have to evolve. So first up, we're going to talk about the Triceratops triumvirate, because we're big fans of alliteration, so you're going to notice that they're all alliterative. And that's going to be Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, Ian Malcolm, which I would say are the three main characters of this movie. Ian Malcolm gets taken out for a while, so I guess you could say he's a fringe main character, but when you think about this movie, you think of these three people.
Okay, ladies, come on. Ian Malcolm in the leather jacket.
The leather jacket.
Remember he got hurt and he's like...
I remember that picture. Somebody made a hot air balloon version of him when he's laying down.
Yes.
And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not just for ladies.
No.
All the guys love it too, so.
Of course.
Yeah. I think that made an impact.
Yes,
more
it
than
did.
the chaos theory, I
it
think.
Did.
Yeah, so for Alan Grant, I love this guy. He's probably one of my favorite movie characters of all time. I love his arc that he goes through in this movie with really kind of, at the beginning, not really liking children and not knowing how to really, I don't even know if it's not liking them, but not knowing how to interact with them.
Yeah.
And
if you're not around children, they're kind of scary.
So he's not sure how to approach them, and watching this arc of him going through the park with Lexi and Tim, seeing him grow to the point where if there had been no more movies, in my mind, Alan Grant and Ellie got together and had children. But it's a shame that he didn't ever have children.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's probably like the biggest thing I think that bums me out about the way that this franchise went. He never got to experience fatherhood after what he went through in this movie, even though that seems like such a logical thing for him to do.
Ellie Sattler, as a woman, she set the bar high. She's smart, she's sexy, she knows what she's doing, she's maternal, kind of. She's maternal with the trike, not so much the kids. But I thought it was a really good character. Was she the same way in the book, or was she more diminished?
To an extent, she's like that in the book. So the thing about the book is that there's more characters and more things going on. A lot more people have like more diminished roles. Muldoon has like a larger role in this, and so does Gennaro in the book. Ellie, I remember some stuff that she did in the book, but like it's not overwhelming of a presence. Like right. Malcolm, they kill off in the book. He literally just spends the second half of the book in a daze in the hotel because of the earlier T-Rex attack. So they beefed her up in this one. You're right. She's very much like that vibe of Linda Hamilton and Sigourney Weaver, Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor, where you know that they can stand toe to toe with anything that they're facing, even if that thing that they're facing is an impossible odds. I know for her that was like the biggest thing that made her happy was that the girls love the character, and like they use that as a milestone, and it's something to strive towards.
In '93, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even in 2026, unfortunately, there's just not as much female representation on the screen that fits the same bill as like what Ellie Sattler does.
Yeah.
I love what she brings to this movie, like the interplay that she has between Grant and Malcolm, and she's always teasing them like, man, dinosaurs eat man, women inherit the earth.
Yes. That was perfect.
And they both tilt their heads to look at her, and Grant, has a smile on his face because he's used to her personality.
Of course.
And Malcolm's a little bit like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, we'll just move on.
Yeah. And she, I mean, she does a lot of really cool things. She's the one that turns on the power that
I know.
the whole compound needs like that desperately. She takes charge. I mean, Grant's kind of just at the end. He's just kind of following her lead
Yeah,
of what to
that's
do.
true.
I love in the third one when she sends the entire military to save Alan. At the end of the movie when they're on the island, he calls her and he's like, Ellie, I'm on Isla Sorda. And like, he doesn't know if she's got him or anything. They go out to the beach at the end and the guy's using the megaphone. They're like, don't do that. The dinosaurs are going to come and kill us.
Mhm.
And then the entire military just lands on the beach like it's Normandy. And I'm just like,
Nice.
wow, she did that. And then we got the newcomer, Ian Malcolm, chaos theory, mathematician, rock star, coming in with his little quips, his little growls.
Love it though. I can't imagine him not being in this movie.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about that
Yeah.
later. But Malcolm is just such a presence in this movie, and
It's that Jeff Goldblum voice.
oh, it is, yeah.
I don't even know if I can reproduce it. It's just,
No,
yeah.
you can't even try. I tried doing the growl one time, and it was just like it didn't come out at all like he does it.
No.
He's like, ha ha ha. It's
Yeah.
like-
That was pretty close.
yeah, kind of, but it just doesn't work the same.
I know.
I like him a lot. He's an interesting character, and I like the little bits that they include that pay off a little bit more in The Lost World.
Mhm.
Like, he's always on the search for the future Mrs. X Malcolm. Like, I always really enjoyed that joke. Like,
Yes.
I know it's kind of dark, but I had a good time with it. You know, he has a bunch of children, which you wouldn't expect from a character like that, but
No.
he talks about how much he adores his children. And, you know, in the next movie, we see one of them. So they add they sprinkle in a little bit more complexity to the character. Obviously, he survives, which was a change from the book because the book also changed that, but
Yeah.
the original cry and vision was that Ian Malcolm was no more. But I'm guessing because Jeff Goldblum was just such a character, they had to continue with him.
He said the best line, life finds a way. And guess what?
Life did find a way.
Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking about this joke when we were watching the movie. You know, when he looks at the dino poop when Sadler, who
Yes.
also like props to Sadler, she just puts her whole
Oh,
hands
yeah.
in dino poop like it's nothing.
Yep.
But when Ian Malcolm is like, he's like, that's one big pile of shit.
Yep.
I was like, wouldn't it be funny if you just like the camera pans around, he's looking like a copy of 1941? We just got to keep bringing it up. You know?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Just it helps him become stronger. It's how we build character here with some light bullying.
It's all harmless, I
Yeah.
promise.
You know what? We only say that for one movie.
Yeah.
I think that's
yeah.
pretty good for a director.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's pretty much it for Malcolm.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he gets injured and he kind of gets taken out of it. Still does his quips here and there, but he largely becomes not a big part of the movie. So I guess we'll move on to the Nublar Nobles, which is John Hammond, his granddaughter Lexi, and his grandson Tim. So I think John Hammond is a very interesting character. I love Sir Richard Attenborough's portrayal of him. I
Mhm.
think he did a great job trying to go for more of that Walt Disney vibe that Spielberg was trying to do. Because in the book is not whimsical, really. There's some parts where you're like, oh yeah, dinosaurs, ooh, cool. But mostly it's like, oh my God, dinosaurs run.
Yeah.
And that Hammond is a little bit different. He's trying to he's just trying to keep a business going. Even in his final moments, because he does die in the book. Even in his final moments, like he's kind of cursing everybody out in his mind. He's like, everybody else ruined this beautiful thing I created. I'm going to do it next time. And it's going to be better. I'm going to get rid of all these troublesome people, and just a completely different vibe than what Richard Attenborough brings.
That character gave me narcissist vibes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Narcissist. I mean, he was blaming Nedry for everything.
Of course.
Technically, yes, Nedry's fault. The system failed so quickly because of the stack. You know, they built a house of cards.
Yes, they
and
did.
Nedry pulled out that one card and it fell. Yes, he's the one that exposed that with his plan, but
Mhm.
he wasn't the reason why this all failed. This is what he created.
In my opinion, he thought that money would fix everything with his thing saying, spared no expense.
Yeah.
So, I spent all this money, so it needs to work.
He seemed more upset too when the dinosaurs weren't appearing than his grandchildren being gone. He was like actually angry about the dinosaurs not working. The tour not going well. And then he's like, well, dude, if you could you go out for a jaunt and pick up my grandchildren?
Yeah, it was very matter of fact. Like, I need some milk, and hey, can you pick up my grandkids? And
Yeah,
like,
on the way. If you
Yeah.
just do me the solid.
Yeah.
But I mean, he still does have like that, vibes of like a grandfather when
Mhm.
when he interacts with the kids. Actually, I really like the scene between him and Ellie when they're eating the ice cream
Yes.
because it's gonna melt, and she tells him, this is all an illusion, just like your flea circus was.
Yes, the flea circus.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I love that scene. I loved the interplay between him and Ellie because it was definitely older generation thinking a woman has a certain role
Yes.
and the younger generation being like, no, I decide what I do. And like his little mannerisms, like when he shakes Alan Grant's finger and then he blows the dust off his hand to keep
Yeah.
it. He's like, oh, I know my way around a kitchen, and he pops a champagne without any permission because
Oh,
he's
yeah.
like, oh, we. Today's the day. It's like your life's gonna change forever. Like a swindler. That's not something you tell people for, if you're coming in good faith. The way he talks about the lawyers, he's definitely got that ruthless side to him, but he's also got that kind, gentle side to him. Sir Richard Attenborough did a really great job with that character.
He did.
And then we got Lexi and Tim, the two grandchildren, both young. I think Tim was like 9, I think, and Lexi was like 12 or 13. I like Tim a lot, but he annoys me, but he's supposed to annoy me.
I
So they
know.
did a good job
He
with
was
it.
very annoying.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the more I think about it, the more I understand why the character is like that. Family of divorce. I know in the book, his dad didn't really get him and in his interests. He didn't, he was lacking that father figure we talk about all the time. His attitude is very much like, oh, like pick me, like please keep talking to me. And I get this guy
Yeah.
because this is me a lot with people. I learn lots of information so that way I have something to talk about with people.
Hmm.
So reading a lot of books and having a lot of information and wanting to talk to people about it, I totally get that attitude. He's just like, please, like, I love dinosaurs. I know everything about dinosaurs. Like we need, he's like, I don't want to talk about other things. I want to talk about real life. Let's just talk about these things that, growl and scare everybody.
And at the same time, he wants that validation. He wants to challenge you. He wants to, you know what I mean? Remember he kept talking about
Other
in the
people's
Omni
books.
magazine,
Yeah.
that, oh, we
The
saw
backer
the
book and
crater and I read your book and, I didn't care for it or whatever he said. And yeah.
yeah, he's like the backer's book is bigger, and Ellie was like, well, yours was fully illustrated, which sounds awesome. But
Right? Where is
also
that book?
that book is called Dinosaur Detectives, and there's something you can buy. You could buy like a display piece for it on Amazon. I saw.
I hate when they do that in movies. They have these books, and you're like, man, that would be cool to read. And no.
Yeah, but yeah, no, you're right. He definitely challenges him. So getting to see like their interplay and seeing their bond grow is always really good. And I love his relationship with Lex too.
Mm.
They obviously are children and they're always making fun of each other, but like you could see how much like how freaked out she is when Tim is, because poor Tim is the one that goes over in the
I know.
car. He's the one that gets electrocuted.
Yes. That island really had it in for
Yeah,
him.
he went through a lot. I don't know. He doesn't seem like he probably would have been too great after that.
So the cutest thing I remember that they were up in the tree, the Brachiosaurus came, and he's like, it's a Vegisaurus. Vegisaurus. It's okay. Okay, they're not going to eat me. No, Vegisaurus.
Well, but then Tim's like, but for you, they may make an exception. So.
Well, yeah, you had to have that snide little remark. That's a sibling thing, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I enjoyed Lex. She was really scarred from the lawyer leaving.
She's probably more of the type of personality that believes she needs to follow authority to be liked and loved. So when the adult leaves, like that left a real scar on her.
Yeah, it did.
And
I felt really bad for her.
I did, yeah, too. I love that Grant was like, but I'm not going. Like when she just keeps repeating, she left us, or he left us, and Grant says, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Like, and he doesn't. He
Nope.
takes them through there and it helps them. And yeah, I like Lexi a lot too. Better in this than in the book. Because in the book, she's the younger sibling in the book. She's more of just the jock type. She brings a baseball and glove and plays catch with people when the ride goes down and stuff. And she has less to do in the book, from what I remember. So I like that they kind of, because Tim was the one that was the hacker and the dinosaur guy, and he kind of took everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that they distributed it so that way Lexi wasn't, she was the hacker. I think one of my favorite like sibling bits was when they were climbing the fence, and she was like, I bet I can climb over there faster than you can even climb one side. And he's like, well, what if I get it if I win? And she just says, respect.
Done. Let's go.
Yeah. Respect is everything when you're that age. And obviously she's the one that uses the computer system. She says it's a Unix system, which is always my favorite. Like every time she says that, I always just like, she's like, it's a Unix system.
I can do this.
But I mean, so she saves them. She gets into her own scary situations, and I like that character a lot. There's not really a character in this movie that I think doesn't serve a good purpose.
Okay.
Maybe the weakest character is the lawyer, just because he doesn't have a whole lot to him. But I like what he represents, where he's the investors and he's the business. And
yeah, he did it very well.
Yeah.
You kind of wanted to hate him because that was his whole, just like the opening story, He was just concerned that the investors were happy.
No, it never was he's like, the family's suing us. We need to fix this.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not, we need to do the right thing and
Nah,
support this family after one of the workers got killed by the velociraptor.
yeah. So
Well,
that would be
that would be Dino Dinner.
yes,
Or, sorry, valued employees, I mean.
dino dinner.
And these are going to be the engine people that unfortunately all became Dino Dinner. Muldoon, Dennis Nedry, Gennaro, and Ray Arnold.
Okay, so Robert Muldoon in
Oh.
the very beginning, badass.
He's totally badass.
Oh my god!
He's literally doing a tug of war with a velociraptor.
For that poor guy.
Like, anybody with a dog has had like a tug of war with their dog where they're like, no, give this to me. He was doing essentially that, but with a living human against a giant turkey monster.
Yeah, he almost won.
He did. And I love when he's saying shoot her.
Yes.
And it does a close up.
Yeah.
It gets closer and closer to his teeth as he's just shouting to shoot her.
Yes.
And then it just like, as he's like, shoot her, and it transitions to the mine and Gennaro taking the raft in.
Yeah.
I love that. And yeah, Muldoon, just from the beginning, you can just tell he's confident. He knows what he's doing. This guy, if there's anybody who's going to be able to fight a dinosaur 1v1, you would expect it to be him.
Which, it baffles me, okay? How did these people know what to do with the dinosaurs? You know, just because he was in Africa, wasn't he the game...
Game warden in Kenya.
Game warden in Kenya. They lead the tours, right? Or whatever, safaris, and
I
to make
so,
sure that, How did he know what to do with the dinosaurs? Did he just transfer his knowledge from lions, or the amount of making it up as they went along? Just, it baffles me.
Well, they even addressed that. Remember, Ellie was like, you have poisonous plants that are inside this building. You think they're pretty, but they could kill somebody. And then we see the Triceratops, and the Triceratops ate a poisonous plant that they had planted just because it looked cool.
Yeah.
And they had no idea. I don't know if this bothers anybody else, but it bothers me. The whole way that Triceratops gets poisoned is it eats the West Indian lilac berries when it's picking up stones for its gizzard.
Yeah.
So that way it can process the food that's in its stomach. So that's why every 6 weeks it regurgitates the stones and picks up new ones and gets poisoned again. So it never physically, it's not eating the plant. And so that's why they're like, but he's not eating the plant. How is this happening?
He ate it a long time ago. Yeah.
Because of the stones. They figure it out in the book.
But they didn't figure it out in the movie.
No. That's just something that always sticks out to me every time I watch it. Because I'm always like, no, they did figure it out. Tell us, people.
But see, I bet they didn't consult a paleobotanist, because that's what
Ellie was.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, yeah, it looks cool. Did you see it in a book? I mean, what? I don't know.
I just imagine a lot of dinosaurs died during this pursuit as they tried to figure out what exactly is it going to need.
How many did they go through?
Yeah. The paleoveterinarian that they had, he still didn't seem like he knew what he was doing. Like Harding was just like, why is this the guy getting sick every 6 weeks? I got 6 more weeks to figure it out. It should be fine.
We're all good here. Okay, back to Muldoon. Okay.
Yes.
The short shorts.
Yes, the short shorts.
Cargo shorts.
The cargo short shorts. Which really left an impression.
Yes, it did.
Wow. And he still looks cool. I don't know how he does it.
I don't know.
It's impossible.
It is.
But, I mean, his first introduction to the group is saying that all the velociraptors should be destroyed.
Yep.
He seems like the only person that genuinely understands the danger that these creatures are.
Respects them.
He does. He respects them. And, I mean, that's the thing you hear about people that hunt large game.
Yeah.
Is that they know they have to respect these animals because these animals can take their lives at any time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's why even when he got chomped on by the velociraptor, he had that moment of respect where he says, clever girl.
Yep.
Because he's like, you got me.
Well, even we were screaming at the TV, they're on the sides, remember? Remember you were talking about how they hunt in packs? What are you doing?
You should have seen this.
He's like, I know I'm done.
Because we don't see the velociraptors until well into the movie, but because of the way he talks about them, you already understand the threat that they are.
Yeah.
Because when he sees that the fence has been eaten and they've gone out, he's like, even Nedry wouldn't have turned off the fences for the raptors. Like, he knew better than that.
So here's what I'm picturing. One of the big, arch signs that says over 1 billion served. For the dinosaurs and the dino dinner.
No, they'd be cheeky and it'd be over 65 million served.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Be like, get it, guys? Like the ears? Come on, guys, you get it, right?
All right. Yeah. So, okay. Sweaty Dennis Nedry.
Yes, Dennis Nedry, the reason why this all happens. Fantastic character, played by Wayne Knight. Just from his intro, you see him, he's just chowing down. I love it because he's just like, dude, I just need money.
Yeah.
Like Hammond, and it's funny because it creates a dichotomy because Hammond continually says, we spare no expense. But then Nedry's like, but I got paid nothing for this job to do this insane thing.
Well, they weren't upfront about it, right? what it was going to consist of?
Yeah. I remember in the book, like, he placed the lowest bid, and that's why he got
That's
accepted.
right, yeah.
But yeah, he had no idea what level of technology they were gonna be doing because this was all stuff that was groundbreaking that had never done before. Could run that place for 3 days just
Mhm.
through the automation of the control room. Him meeting with Dodgson. "Dodgson, we got Dodgson here." See, nobody cares. He's like, "What, are you trying to dress like a secret agent?" and jokes about his hat.
What company was he from?
Biosyn.
Which we'll see again or see
So we see that in Dominion.
Dominion.
Yeah. In the Lost World, he's in the book a lot,
Oh, okay.
but they cut that part out of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crichton knew his stuff. When is it? I remember when you were reading the book, you said it was very scientific.
Oh yeah, it's so much science. If you read the book, it's a great book, but there's so much science jargon, your brain's gonna just overload.
Yeah.
Like, I think in the Lost World it is, every chapter there's a new fractal, which is like a mathematician term of like a pattern design. So it's a quick read because you kind of just are like, science.
Science.
Dinosaurs? Let me read. Science.
Respect.
Yes, for sure. For Nedry, like he's got a lot of comedy to him, even though he's doing a terrible thing. When he uses the shaving cream and then he places it on the person's pie.
Yes.
Like, I was like, dude, that's such a messed up thing to do.
Yeah, because it looks like whipped cream.
Yeah, it does, exactly.
Yeah.
So, he's on the island. He turns off all the power, which strands everybody and leads to the movie happening so he can leave. He gets all the embryos in the Barbasol can, drives into the sign, doesn't know which way to go.
Yeah.
I like his frustration of being like, this way? Turns the sign around. No, it's this way. And then he's just like, oh, whatever. And he just spins it.
Yeah.
Like it's some sort of wheel. And then he gets stranded on the little cliff.
Yeah.
Tries to pull himself free, runs into the Dilophosaurus, makes fun of it.
Of course.
Gets his. So
yeah, he sure did.
Do you like when he loses his glasses and he's like, it's fine. I can buy tons of glasses after I get this done. And I was like,
so yeah. I mean, Dennis Nedry was really good as far as the acting was good. He was kind of a lovable idiot, I guess. I don't know. He was so smart, but so dumb at the same time.
I think immature.
Immature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even when he's talking to Hammond and Hammond's like, I expect people to own up to their mistakes. He says, thanks, Dad.
Okay. Sarcasm. Yeah. Yeah,
And,
I see that.
Ray Arnold goes through and he's trying to access it and it says, you didn't say the magic word. And it's him. It's him. He coded an image of himself shaking his finger, dressed like Elvis, saying, you didn't say the magic word.
Yeah. It got annoying, but it was very well done.
Yeah. One last thing I'll say, too. He has a picture of Oppenheimer on his desk. And my theory is the reason why is because Oppenheimer, his big thing is he knew he had changed the world permanently. And the reason why the picture of him was on his desk was because the introduction of dinosaurs again would change the world forever.
Oh, definitely. There's a reason why dinosaurs and man did not exist at the same time.
Because there would be no man.
Exactly. And women would inherit the earth.
Yes, exactly.
So let's see. Donald Gennaro.
Yes, the blood-sucking lawyer.
Yes. The first
with his
dino dinner, yes.
The first dino dinner. He books it, dude. He gets it at least. Like, at least he understood. He's like, I got to do something. I got to get out of here.
We can't just sit here. Yeah.
Granted, he did, leave behind the children, but he
they
understood.
Were his kids. I mean.
Yeah. He's a very interesting guy. I like that his suit is too big.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think he's wearing shorts too.
He was.
Yeah.
It looked really weird.
It's very, like, you could tell a corporate guy who's never gone outside.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Okay, we're going to go do this tour. I better put on my leisure shorts.
We already talked about him a little bit, but like he's a lawyer. He's obsessed with whatever his investors need. When he sees the park, he's the only one on Hammond's side, which is really funny. And he's like, we can charge $2,000 a day, $10,000 a day. And Hammond said, no, everybody should be able to check this out. And I love how he's just like, sure, we'll have a coupon day.
Yeah, coupon day.
Like if you go and get the Cracker Jack boxes and you get $50 off his tabs.
Yes.
You can get half off to Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
When the T-Rex appears, he runs naturally to the bathroom that's out there to try to hide in some way. And if Malcolm hadn't drawn the T-Rex over there, he would have survived.
He would have.
Yeah. But he's also the guy that got eaten on the toilet. So that's how we'll always remember him.
Exactly.
And then lastly, I think Ray Arnold, Samuel L. Jackson himself, Mr. Cigarette acting.
So that's been our running joke now.
Yes, yeah.
When did that start? Was that?
It's Jaws. So this is the guy that started it all. Obviously not timeline-wise, but like for us, this is the first time we've noticed it, was his incredible cigarette acting.
Oh, yeah.
He's got some of the best lines. Hold on to your butts.
Oh, yeah.
Such a great line. I love how he's like, I'm just doing this job to do this job. He gets upset when Nedry's station's all dirty and he just like sweeps it all off.
Oh, yeah.
He's
it was gross.
It was, yeah. I was glad he did that. It made me
Yeah,
feel
me
a little bit
too.
better. But he's the one that resets the power,
Hmm.
and then he goes to the shed to try to turn on the power. We never hear from him again.
No.
Uh,
We do see his arm.
we do see his arm,
Yeah.
yes. When Ellie goes in to reset the power, and she does, his arm lands on her, and she's like, "Oh, Mr. Arnold is finally it's missing some pieces."
Yeah, a little bit.
I kind of like that we don't see his death scene.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what's happened to him, and then, like, you can see the relief on Ellie's face when she thinks, "Oh, must have just been hiding or something," and
Yeah.
then the horror of realizing, no, he's dead, and then that the Velociraptors got him. So next we're gonna talk about the scenes. So we try to pick out, 3 or 4 pivotal scenes, I think. There's a lot in this movie that you could choose from. I think it's just easy for us just to choose all the dinosaur ones.
Well,
'Cause
yeah.
first one that we wanna talk about is going to be the one that started it all, the Brachiosaurus.
Yeah.
The first time they see it when they arrive on Jurassic Park. Hammond just vaguely was like, "It's right up your alley." It's
Yeah.
like, "Oh, wow, I didn't realize you knew I was really into World War II history." Like,
Right. They didn't know what to expect. So just seeing Alan Grant, standing up like he was so giddy and scared at the same time, and just pulling off his aviator
his
glasses and
she's looking at the leaf. She's like, "This veriform is
oh yes,
extinct. How is it here?" She's a paleobotanist, so she's
yeah,
geeking out. She's like, "This is what?" And then, yeah, he, like, grabs her head and
yeah,
turns it
turns it,
to see the big thing.
and she stands up and she's like, "Whoa!" It was just like two little kids.
I use that gif of Alan Grant taking off his glasses all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's so good.
Anytime I need to convey awe and amazement, I was like this.
It was really good. I thought he did that very well. And we'll probably talk about this later, but just knowing that they weren't looking at anything.
Oh, yeah, they were just looking at, like, a foam head
Yeah.
to give them an eye line. Spielberg, in the moment, said, "I want to shoot this from Alan Grant's perspective." So that's
Hmm.
why you see that sense of awe,
Yeah.
where it's so large in the screen to give you that sense of scale.
Hmm.
They had no idea if they could actually do it. He was just like, "I'm gonna shoot it this way,
Yep.
and we're gonna make it happen."
And they made it happen.
Yeah.
That was just to be a paleontologist and just to see these majestic creatures because brachiosauruses, to me, are majestical.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because they have the long neck or it's just, I don't know, they move slow.
Yeah, the size.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
I like that Hammond comes up and they start talking to him, and they're immediately debunking all the theories.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't live in swamps.
Yeah.
It's cold-blooded, and then Hammond is like, "Well, T-Rex goes 32 miles per hour," and they're like, "Wait, what? You have what?" And he's like,
What?
and I love it because he's just like, "We've got a T-Rex."
Yeah,
Like,
we got one here.
and then just like Alan Grant, literally just so overwhelmed he almost throws up.
Yeah.
Oh, he gets
Oh,
all
that's right.
woozy.
Yeah, you put
And
your head between your knees.
like he's just so overwhelmed by this moment. And it's just it's incredible. And I mean, this scene, you can tell what the lasting impact it has, because one of the saddest scenes in a movie I see on lists all the time is the Brachiosaurus in Fallen Kingdom when it doesn't get off the island.
Oh.
And you see it in the smoke, and it's doing the pose. Like, and the way that they did, like, people have said that is one of the saddest scenes in movie history, is seeing that Brachiosaurus, because it's the end of
Yeah.
it's the end of the park. It's the end of your innocence. Yeah, and then I think next is going to be the scene that everybody knows the best, which is the
Of course.
T-Rex escape.
Yeah.
That scene is amazing. I mean, the wires, the way they just snap off, even the way that, like, you see the hand curl on the wire after
Mhm.
eating the goat onto the ceiling of the car.
Yes.
Gennaro seeing what's happening, booking it
Oh, yeah.
immediately. The kids just being idiots
Oh, yeah.
because they're children
Yeah.
and they're scared, and I totally get it. With the light,
Yes. Turn off the light.
the impact tremors on the cup of water.
Oh, that is amazing.
It walking out in the headlights. And that's the
Yes.
first time that you see it. Like,
Yeah, because all this time, all you see is a bunch of bushes moving, things being eaten.
yeah, you see a little bit of the head when it eats the goat, but that's
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And then you see it in all of its glory as it comes through, and it just wrecks this area. It's a real grudge against the first car. And it
Obviously.
just tries to eat the children. The children obviously don't know things like it's based on movement, so
Yeah.
they're moving around, they're
Of
using the
course.
light, closing the door, stuff like that.
I don't know.
The T-Rex just immediately tries to get them.
There was no video to explain, don't move until,
I think it's really funny that they do have signs up to say, "Hey, don't do things like flash photography, and don't
Yeah.
eat, or don't feed the dinosaurs," on this tour that you're stuck in a car for.
Okay. Let's look at this.
Hmm.
Tim is supposedly an expert, right? Because of Baker's book, Becker.
Now, he's read every book, I think.
So how did he not know don't move or all
Yeah.
of that?
He's 8. If you see something that is 15 times your size, your brain might stop working.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, adrenaline.
I think
Okay,
it's, yeah.
okay.
I think it shows the difference between him and Grant with that experience.
Mhm.
Because Grant knows, he's like immediately says, don't move. As soon as the T-Rex gets out. The only reason why he does move is to get the flare to help the children. And he knows to throw it after stopping. And then Ian Malcolm continues running.
Yeah.
And he, with his flare, and even though he throws a flare, the T-Rex is like, dude, I still see you. I'm going to get you.
Uh-huh.
And I love the flare bit, but I'm so tired of it in these movies. Like, yeah, Dominion and Rebirth just like used the flare bit so much that I just got so tired of it. But I love it in this scene. I love the way it lights the scene.
Oh, yeah.
With the pink. He's chasing after Malcolm, knocks down the bathroom, messes up Malcolm's leg.
Yep.
Doesn't see him anymore. Sees Gennaro, eats Gennaro. That's the end of him. The car gets flipped over. Car goes over.
And gets stuck in the tree down below, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the kids still inside it.
The kid's still inside it. They have to scale down the wall. And I tried to find information about this whole ground changing thing. They tried to say, oh, there's a real big slope next to them up to where the T-Rex was. I don't believe that.
No.
I read in the book that I've been reading, and it said, Spielberg said, there's dinosaurs, they're not going to care. And that sounds more true to me.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fine. It's just always such a weird thing to me, but I can live with it. So, Grant has to go get Timmy in the tree, which I'd be screwed. I don't know how to climb a tree.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Wow.
And especially when there's a car hurtling down towards me.
Nope.
They have to climb down the tree, and the wheel got turned and it starts falling down towards them. Luckily, they're saved because earlier the roof had been popped in.
Yeah, yeah.
And so they were able to just, as it fell correct. It fell perfectly like it does in movies.
Of course.
So they were okay. And I love Tim's line of, well, now we're back in the car.
Yeah.
And I do like that they do a callback to the scene when they're climbing up into the tree. And Lexi's like, I love trees. And he's like, you weren't in the last one.
Yeah. It was scary.
Yeah. Next, I think we can talk about Dennis Nedry and his fight with the Dilophosaurus. I love the Dilophosaurus, honestly.
Okay.
What's up?
It wasn't a fight.
I mean, no, it wasn't.
It was an annihilation, okay?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't respecting the dinosaurs.
No, he wasn't.
He treated it like a dog. He tried to throw a stick.
He threw the stick, yeah.
It's like, go get a stick. As soon as he saw it, he's like, oh, I thought you were one of your big brothers. Just like obviously showing no respect for the animals.
Yeah.
I love that it does a little peekaboo around the tree.
That was awesome.
It's like, hey, it's the little
Honk
noises
or something.
Yeah, it uses the noises of a swan normally.
Yeah.
But yeah, it follows him. He tries to get it away from him because he needs to pull the Jeep down to get to the east dock. It keeps following him. He trips. He falls. Yeah. The Barbasol can goes in the mud. Something that feels like it was a tease for something later. It turns out it's not.
I know. I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to lead somewhere, but no. He gets attacked by the Dilophosaurus and unfurls his frill.
That was awesome.
Oh, yeah. I love that. It makes this rattlesnake noise. It shoots its venom at him, which causes paralysis, blindness. And then, yeah, he trips and falls. He tries to get into the Jeep. That's when he hits his head on the Jeep and he falls again. And that's when he loses the Barbasol can. He gets into the car. It's in the car with him.
Well, he thinks he's safe. He's like, okay.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Can't get to me in here, but it's in there waiting for him.
Yeah. We're like, how did he get in the car?
Way less graphic than it is in the book. In the book, you go through Dennis Nedry's point of view as he's being beaten by this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It leaves a mark.
I wonder if they had to kind of do it off screen to keep their PG-13 rating.
Yeah, they couldn't have.
Because they already did the T-Rex, eating
the chomp, but there was no blood or anything. Yeah. It's a very bloodless film.
I love seeing him in the car with it, just,
Yeah, and I just love that the Jeep is just rocking as it's eating him.
Let's move on.
Yep, he caused his own downfall. If he had been respectful, maybe he would have been okay.
I doubt it, but it just, I think it pissed it off more than anything.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't want to be treated like a dog.
No. This was exciting. So remember Alan Grant with the claw.
Yes.
So going into the kitchen.
Yeah, the kitchen scene is like.
Yes.
Because that's how they communicate with each other.
Yes. And I don't know, we did it one summer. We kept doing that, like on the kitchen counter, just kind of tapping.
Oh, yeah.
We're coming for you. And Brandon's like, what are you doing? And I don't think he watched this.
No.
Yeah.
That's just most of Brandon's life is what are these guys doing?
We always had something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good scene.
Finding out that they can open doors. They have human level intelligence practically.
Yeah.
So learning how to open doors. It's funny because right before that, Ellie said, as long as I can't open doors, there's one locked in the shed. And then you just cut to it. You see the
door opening,
being opened. Mm-hmm. The puppetry too.
Yeah.
Like seeing those puppets make that leap onto the stoves. the chase. So when Lexi does the reflection to mess with it, I actually did in physics. It was like a bonus question trying to figure out based off of where she was and where the reflection was this possible? No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Just because of the way the angles work.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been like the next aisle over, but always remember that about whenever I watch this movie, I remember that physics question. And then Tim tricking one into the freezer.
Yes.
And he's spinning around and to get out there, and he's trying to close the door, and then Lexi screaming her, her head off, running in to push the door closed with him so they can latch it.
Yeah.
I mean, even leading up to this scene where Lexi's they're chowing down, and then Lexi has the green jello and is shaking because her hand's shaking when she sees a shadow of the velociraptor.
Oh, yeah.
And then, it just leads into the whole control room chase. They're going through the ventilation shafts. There's that one scene where the building blocks of the DNA is superimposed over the velociraptor's body.
Yes, I love that.
Them trying to keep the door closed while Lexi tries to turn on the security and the door locks, leading into the final scene with they're trying to get out and the T-Rex saves their lives, being the quietest T-Rex you've ever done see.
Yeah, what was that about? It just kind of showed up and you're like...
Because he knows how to do a presence. He knows, or she knows presence, all right?
Okay, that's right.
She's a strong, independent woman. She'll do what she needs to do. But I think those are, the most notable scenes.
Oh, yeah.
In a movie full of them. So there's definitely more out there, but the dinosaur stuff's just too good.
Yeah,
You just can't not talk about it.
The humans, they're
I
okay.
I love the humans too, but
yeah, but dinosaurs, come on.
I mean, no one's gonna put. I mean, the lunch scene's pretty cool, but I'm not gonna talk about that as one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
The Chilean sea bass, right?
The Chilean sea bass, yes. So next we'll talk about some themes. They're all kind of the same theme.
I mean, man versus nature for sure.
Control versus chaos, fantasy versus reality. Illusion, yeah. Man's arrogance and thinking they can control nature.
Oh, yeah.
That is embodied by Hammond, Ian Malcolm, when he talks about how they stood on the shoulders of geniuses and they don't respect what they created. This whole movie is just about that. And also the dangers of capitalism. Money is all what this is all about at the end of the day. I think that's kind of it for the themes. We've talked about it a lot.
So the symbols, we got the Barbasol can. So to me, the Barbasol can represents capitalism, like you were saying. Greed. You shouldn't have this. I know it didn't leave the park, but can you imagine if it had left the park? It just would have been more of the same. And maybe not as, I wouldn't say controlled, because that's obviously, it was under control for a while, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so just greed and capitalism.
Yeah.
The Barbasol can.
The Barbasol can definitely embodies that. Like another symbol is the fossilized claw of the velociraptor that Alan Grant has in the beginning, that he uses for when he terrorizes that kid or underestimates the velociraptors and what they're capable of.
They're just birds.
Yeah. This looks like an oversized turkey. And then, Grant puts the fear of God in him.
Yep.
I remember there was a big theory that Owen Grady from Jurassic World was that kid.
Ah.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
It would have been an interesting twist on it, yeah.
That was Chris Pratt, right?
Yeah.
He was so in tune with the velociraptors. So.
Yeah, and he was always like, you need to respect them. Like, don't turn your back on the cage and things like that. Like he genuinely knew that they were dangerous. It fits. I think
it does fit.
Yeah.
I don't know, somewhere along the way, Grant drops it.
After when they're sleeping in the tree before the brachiosauruses appear.
He just drops it. He's like, what do you think?
I think it's him letting go of the past.
Okay.
Because right before he drops, so it like pokes him. So he pulls it out, and the kids and Tim's and Lex are like, so what are you guys going to do now? And he's like, oh, we're going to have to evolve and figure out what our life's going to be like now. I think it's just him just letting go of the past and understanding that things are not going to be the same after today.
Yeah.
But so I think that's all the symbols, themes, scenes, and characters for Jurassic Park.
Need a new way to carry your lunch to school? Does lunchtime need some more excitement? Then you need to tell your parents to buy the new Jurassic Park lunchbox. It's yellow, plastic, and it has a cool picture of a dinosaur. But it also has a surprise inside, a tiny egg that is designed to hatch in the school cafeteria during lunch, which will ensure your popularity and take a bite out of your school bullies. The Jurassic Park lunchbox, for when a paper bag just seemed boring.
Get it today. All right, now that we've talked about the silver screen, it is time to go behind the scenes with The Shark Is Not Working. So this one's going to be a little bit different. We're going to do kind of a breakdown of all the different techniques that went into this movie, the origin story, some perils that it faced. I hope you're ready to buckle up and come along this ride with us, because it's all really fun information. Like, we tried to cut what we thought wasn't necessary, and we cut a little bit, but I'm going to be honest with you, just so much of it is so interesting that we wanted to talk about it. And that's why this episode is going to probably be longer than normal.
I know you sent me an email or a text message at 3 o'clock in the morning. Can you cut this down? It's 11 pages of just notes. And I'm going through and I'm like, this is too interesting. I can't cut this. Okay. We'll take out some of the words here and there. So, yeah, buckle up.
Yeah. If you really love Jurassic Park, the Ultimate Visual History is a great thing to get. My sister-in-law got it for me a few years ago for Christmas, and unfortunately, I didn't pick it up until now. But
that's okay.
That's one of my favorite things about this is that it forces me to do things that I've been meaning to do, and it's got a Lost World section in it, so I'll be able to use that for the Lost World episode. But so we're going to talk about Michael Crichton and Steven Spielberg. And if you haven't realized it, Michael Crichton was one of my favorite authors. He passed away, I think, right before I went into high school.
Yeah.
If there were 3 authors that defined me in high school, it's Michael Crichton, James Patterson, and John Grisham. And like Michael Crichton, he's written books that still hold so much weight today. State of Fear is where I first learned about climate change, where my 9th grade Oklahoma history teacher told me I was dumb for thinking that is true. He wrote other things that are crazy, like Timeline, where they'd go back in time with a little device, which became a movie. Congo, where they fought the, super-powered apes or whatever. Apes with lasers, I think. Sphere, which became a movie as well. ER,
Of course
Westworld,
ER, yeah.
The Andromeda Strain.
Yeah.
Westworld, he created and directed that. So he's been everywhere. He's also super tall. Not really necessary for this conversation, but I just felt like I needed to say it. But I love the guy, and I love what he's done. And so getting to learn, they went into a lot about his origin story with Spielberg, which I really liked. Their relationship began in 1968 at Universal Studios. Spielberg had just started working for Universal. He had just begun his 7-year contract, and Michael Crichton was there because Robert Weiss was directing The Andromeda Strain, which was his first book, and his first book adaptation. So they got to know each other then. They knew each other for a long time. Then they were collaborating in the late 80s on the television series ER, because Michael Crichton created ER. Crichton was like, Spielberg, hey, there's a new concept I'm working on. He's like, oh, okay, what is it? All I can tell you is that it involves dinosaurs and DNA. And Spielberg said, I'm in. He actually started working on this project. Crichton started writing it in 1983 as a film script, which was about a graduate student cloning a pterodactyl. Once he started realizing he needed to be a book, he changed it to a boy's perspective. But he told his friends, and they said, this is not good. So he created the character of Alan Grant. What's crazy about this is that the book wasn't even completed, and the film rights went up. And you want to talk a little bit about those film rights and kind of what was happening there.
Oh, definitely. Very exciting. So Warner Brothers bid for Tim Burton to direct Jurassic Park because of the success of Batman, obviously, in 1989. 20th Century Fox bid for Joe Dante to direct, who is known for Gremlins. Didn't Spielberg have something to do with Gremlins as well?
He produced Gremlins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gruber Peters Entertainment and Tristan Pictures.
It should be TriStar.
Oh, sorry, TriStar. TriStar Pictures bid for Richard Donner to direct, who found success in Superman, the movie, and The Goonies.
Another Spielberg produced movie.
Yeah. And then, of course, our friend James Cameron tried to get the rights, but missed it by, 2 hours?
Yeah.
He stated it would have been aliens, but with dinosaurs, so it would have been more true to the horrors of the novel, which I thought was pretty horrific, the way they did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't too over the top.
I think there's a movie that came out last year called Primitive War, based off a book series. And that's Vietnam era soldiers going into this Vietnam. And it turns out there was like a time rift. And so dinosaurs came through and they had to fight dinosaurs. And I think that is very close to what James Cameron probably would have done with this movie. And it was an interesting take, but yeah, it would not have had the mainstay power that Jurassic Park does, 33 years later.
Yeah. Would you say that movie was magical?
No, there wasn't any.
Yeah.
No. I mean, if you want to see, people running and gunning, trying to kill dinosaurs and being hunted by velociraptors, then yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not going to capture your imagination. All right. So next we're going to talk about casting and cameos. So first up, we always talk about potential castings. So for Alan Grant, Spielberg was trying to stay away from some big names because he knew the dinosaurs were going to be the big names, but he still pursued Harrison Ford. And from my research, it looks like Alan Grant was more of an Indiana Jones style character in the beginning before they kept reworking the script. And we'll talk script here in a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was he was like jumping through windows and stuff. So he did talk to Harrison Ford about it, gave him the script, even some concept art of him as a character. But Ford declined. He felt where he was in his career, this wasn't the right move for him anymore. Other actors that were included were, of course, Richard Dreyfuss.
Always.
Which, I mean, if you're trying to get a nerd, that makes sense because, he was a shark nerd in Jaws.
He was the aviation nerd and
yes,
Always.
And Always, yes. And I mean, it makes sense too because Spielberg said that he wanted to this was his idea of like a Jaws sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kurt Russell, because it was really hot at the time. I mean, that's the time of Backdraft.
Yeah.
It's the only early 90s movie I know of Kurt Russell's, so that's why I bring it up all the time.
Yeah.
William Hurt, who was seriously considered, but he turned it down without even reading So when they did a lot of this casting, people had to read from the book. A lot of these people read the book when they were preparing for the role. William Hurt did not.
He just,
He's like, nah, this isn't for me. And then for Ellie Sattler, Helen Hunt, Gwyneth Paltrow auditioned for the role. If you remember, Gwyneth Paltrow was young Wendy in Hook, just a couple years before that, and a goddaughter of Spielberg. And Helen Hunt, I think, would have been interesting because she does Twister later. And Twister is kind of like her character in that is kind of Ellie Sattler-like.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives you an idea of what she could have brought to the role. I think she would have done a good job too, but I just love Laura Dern.
I know.
I think she's exceptional as Ellie Sattler. Ian Malcolm, Jim Carrey participated in an audition for this character.
No.
This is early Jim Carrey. So
What was that, The Mask and
it was before The Mask because that was 94. I think this was
Ace Ventura?
Yeah, this was just, he was doing bit parts. And then lastly, Lexi. Christina Ricci was among those considered for the part. Big 90s kid actor with Addams Family, and which I think was 80s and 90s. Casper, beloved of mine when I was a kid. So that would have been interesting. I think Ariana Richards did a great job, though. I'm interested by these potential castings, but the ones I got are so solid.
Definitely.
All right. And then they did talk about the people that got the job and what inspired those actions. So why don't you go ahead and tell me about the actual players for this?
So Sam Neill obviously plays Alan Grant. I believe Spielberg saw him in Dead Calm, which I personally have not seen.
Yeah, I haven't either. Apparently Sam Neill is really big in Europe. I know him from around this time was when he did The Hunt for Red October.
Yes.
Yes.
Where he was Russian, right?
He was the first officer for Sean Connery in that movie, talking about how I think he's going to retire to Arizona.
Yeah.
And he was going to build his life, and you knew that he wasn't going to make it out of there as soon as he started talking about it.
Of course. Don't ever talk about things you're going to do after the war or something like that. See, Laura Dern, she played Ellie Sattler. They saw her in Smooth Talk. I'm trying to remember if that was before Blue Velvet. I think I read somewhere that maybe it was both of them that she did that they enjoyed. So then, of course, you have Sir Richard Attenborough, which I learned was actually a director, which I did not realize.
He hadn't acted in 15 years before he took on this role.
It's amazing to me because he directed Gandhi.
Yes.
Yeah, so 1982, Gandhi and E.T. were both nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
Obviously, Gandhi won, as we know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think I'd make Spielberg salty, but if anything, it just made them become friends. That's that's a healthy rivalry.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, you know what, you're my friend, but also I will destroy you.
But you know what? Gandhi was a good movie, if I remember correctly. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
Well, I'll have you know that Attenborough said that E.T. should have won.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So Joseph Mazzello, I hope he said his name right.
Yeah, it should be right.
Okay, he played Tim. So Tim, he was actually considered for Hook, right? But he was too young.
Yeah, he went up for the role for Peter Banning. Or not Peter Banning, sorry. His son that I've already forgotten the name of.
Charlie Corsmo?
No,
something like that.
Like the actual child's name. Jack.
Yes. Okay. Spielberg, he likes to do this because he did this with Drew Barrymore because she wasn't cast in Poltergeist, right?
Right. E.T. instead.
Yeah. Spielberg was really good. I really respect him for this. Well, you didn't get this part, so you know what? I'm going to put you in my next movie. I don't know if directors normally do that, but it just seems like, he really attaches to people, if that makes sense.
He really gets them, yeah.
Yeah.
And he remembers. I think that's good. I mean, especially for networking and stuff. But
there's that. And then Ariana Richards, who plays Lex, because he cast Joseph, they had to reverse the ages.
Yeah. Because in the book, Tim is the oldest. I think they said they would have, Lexi would have had to been 6. And they didn't want to do that.
Yeah,
so
no.
They felt weird about having dinosaurs attack a 6-year-old.
Yeah. But a poltergeist, that's okay. But that's neither here nor there. Ariana Richards, who played Lex, was hired because she had a memorable audition, because she was asked to scream. So yeah, I thought she did a great job screaming.
Yeah, she did really good. I mean, she when she screams, her body just goes rigid.
Yeah.
Like when she sees the T-Rex after getting out of the Land Cruiser.
Yeah.
And you just the way her shoulders go down, and she's just it's like
her face
her
is
whole
just
body is leaving her, her soul's leaving her body as she screams. That's what it feels like.
Is that when Grant put his hand over?
Yes, yeah.
I thought she was well cast.
No, I liked her a lot.
Yeah, I liked everybody that was cast.
Those two appear again in Lost World in the little cameos too. And then obviously for some other supporting roles, Jeff Goldblum for Ian Malcolm. This one is really interesting because I'll talk about it a little bit more, but like Ian Malcolm got cut out of the script multiple times. They didn't know how to write the character. Ian Malcolm channeling his, scientist from The Fly and just being Ian Malcolm or being Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
He channeled all that in, and that actually is what convinced them to bring that character back into the script. And they based it all off of Jeff Goldblum. Finally, like that, like unlocked the character for them.
It was made for him.
Yeah. Essentially, Samuel L. Jackson was actually suggested by Whoopi Goldberg because of a Spike Lee movie that he was in. That's always really fun getting to see, like, because Whoopi obviously worked with Spielberg during The Color
Mhm.
Purple, and getting to see that she's the reason why he got this role, which you start kicking off his stardom, is really neat. Wayne Knight, I love the way that they talk about Wayne Knight's being hired for this role
Yeah.
because they call his performance sweaty in
Mhm.
Basic Instinct. And Spielberg said, "Imagine what he does when he sees a when he sees a woman. Imagine that, but like dinosaurs." And so that's why they hired him for the role. Wayne Knight is a lot of fun in this. I love him. And then we want to talk a little bit about inspirations. So Jack Horner inspired the character of Alan Grant, his look, his knowledge. He actually came in and assisted in how they did the look of the dinosaurs. He helped them because they wanted to do a balance because they knew the dinosaurs were starting to find out like they had feathers and more characteristics. And Spielberg said, no, I want them to look like they did when I was a kid,
Yeah.
essentially. So they kind of were trying to find a balance between what is known and what is not known. Dilophosaurus doesn't have that frill, but come on, how could you? That scene would be nothing without the frill.
Oh, yeah.
And he told stories about how he searched for dinosaur bones as a Green Beret in the Vietnam War. So he sounds awesome. All right, next we'll talk about the writing. So like I said, the script went through a lot of revisions. Michael Crichton did write the initial version, and he does have a screenplay credit for this
Okay.
movie, but it underwent numerous rewrites to reach perfection. So John Bell, who was a special effects artist who did a lot of research into dinosaurs and what they look like and, storyboarding and everything, he reimagined the T-Rex attack to be more animalistic. Before, it was like it just picked up the car in his mouth and it swung it around. Something about the weight would have made it not seem make sense. So he wanted it to be more animalistic, flipping the car over rather than shaking it like Godzilla, treating it like it's a herbivore. So he goes for the gut, the belly,
Yeah.
which I think makes a lot of sense. That it would have seen this thing and been like, it's a weird looking Stegosaurus, but I'm going to kill it.
Because that's what you do because your belly is exposed.
And he also helped transform Alan Grant from an Indiana Jones type character into a more realistic character that we know today.
So I'm glad they did that.
It would have been okay, I think.
But
For me, Grant is the best because he's the unlikely hero.
Yeah.
Literally, in any other situation, he's not going to be of any help. But this one specific circumstance is his time to shine.
Exactly.
It's like in Scream when somebody calls and says, "What's your favorite?" Asks you questions about horror to save somebody's life, and you're like, "Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
This is it.
I'm
This is
on
what
it.
I've been waiting for my entire life. Getting called up to the majors.
Yes.
Let's go." Do you want to talk a little bit about Malia Scotch Marmo? Because I know you talked about her for Hook, right?
Yes. Didn't she come in and write?
Yeah,
the script,
I
yeah.
think she pumped up.
The
She
script.
punched up the Hook character in the screenplay.
Yes, that's right. So obviously they brought her in again. They were punching up characters. She tried to merge Ian and Alan Grant. I think we talked about that earlier. Obviously, she didn't want the Malcolm role in there.
I
yeah.
said, everybody kept getting rid of the Malcolm role because
Yeah.
they just didn't know how to write it.
She came back and helped with the script, and I'm glad she was not successful with eliminating Malcolm because one of the reasons I really liked the movie was him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even David Cope, who wrote this movie, who wrote the finished screenplay, he got rid of him too until Jeff Goldblum showed up. So we have Goldblum all to thank for that.
Yes.
But yeah, he used the original book for inspiration. He pretty much started this draft from scratch
Wow.
because he wanted to go to the original book and just kind of just write it and not rely on Crichton wrote what Malia Scotch Marmo wrote
Hmm.
and really figure out what this draft looks like. It ended up being closer to Crichton's draft, which makes sense if he used the original book for inspiration. He created the Mr. DNA character
Woohoo!
and introduced the idea of Alan Grant being uncomfortable around children to give him that emotional arc. If you read in the book, like he's fine with children. So
No, I like that. I like that arc. So now we're going to talk about production, which is we've got the visual effects and the practical design. So the production designer, Rick Carter, was planning all of these sequences before the book was even published, while Phil Tippett was the dinosaur supervisor, pioneered Go Motion to add digital blur to stop motion puppetry.
Stop motion was a big deal back in the
Yes, it
80s.
was,
It was being
yeah.
used for a lot of different things. I mean, ED209 and RoboCop and
California raisins.
California raisins, anything that needed puppetry in. That's how they started out with this. I was telling you earlier, one of my favorite things that came out like 10 years ago was in the credits, he's dinosaur supervisor, Phil Tippett, and somebody took a screenshot of that and said, "You really messed up on your job here, Phil."
Yes.
Which actually kind of becomes a little sad once you learn more about what happened to Phil Tippett in this movie with the introduction of CGI, but
yeah.
we'll get into that. So next is the T-Rex animatronic created by Stan Winston. Stan Winston has done a lot of different things for movies. He did like the Alien Queen and Aliens, Predator from Predator, just a whole lot of work. He had bid to do the E.T. puppet, but he missed out on that opportunity. So that's why he was so excited to be able to work on Jurassic Park, because he got to work with Spielberg. It was created by Stan Winston. It's 26-foot long robot. Used something called a Waldo performance capture device for natural movement. Just everything that they did in this movie to try to make the dinosaurs look as natural as possible is insane. They did a lot of puppetry. They did a lot of stop motion, just anything they can. I mean, they looked at actual creatures to base them off of as well. So doing the performance capture device, I won't go into it, but it was like a fifth-sized T-Rex that they used, that they had walk around so that way they can understand what exactly it would look like while they were creating the larger version of it.
Okay.
So they did run into some troubles. During filming, the rubber skin absorbed rain like a sponge. They required the crew to dry it between takes to keep it functional. They said that Dan Winston's children came out and were just slapping him with towels to try to dry it off.
That would have been funny to see.
Yeah, because they didn't know it was going to be in the rain until it happened. And so they had to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? Because it's not supposed to be getting wet.
Right. Kind of like Bruce, where he was supposed to be in fresh water, not salt
Yes,
water.
yeah.
Yeah.
So some things change and some things are made the
Yeah,
same.
exactly.
They also were like, I read, they thought they had more time. And then Spielberg said, "Hey, by the way, next week we're going to need this animatronic."
Yeah.
And they're like, "What do you mean?
What?
What are you talking about?" They had to rush through it.
Yes, they did. For scientific inspiration, designer Crash McCreary based his dinosaur movements on birds like ostriches, the gallimimus, and the eagle-like talons for the T-Rex. So I was telling Tyler, or I may have said it on the podcast, that I appreciated all the work they went to try to make this as real as possible, with not being there, obviously. But you could really believe that these things have the big talons, and you know what I mean? How
Yeah.
they went to all that detail. And do you think that was because of the book?
From what I've read, everybody that was involved with this they gave 110%.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane the level of work they put into, how long they worked on it. A lot of them were just taking leaps of faith.
Yeah.
And trying to make it happen. It's insane, the level of dedication for this movie.
That's why it's so good. So yeah, the animatronic looked great.
Yes. I mean, they're the reasons why this movie still holds up.
Yeah.
The CGI is the weakest part.
Yeah.
I mean, and it actually looks better than most CGI does. I'm not trying to take a dig at it, but you could just tell it's CGI when the T-Rex is running, you know. But the animatronics, man.
Yeah.
They are good.
Very good.
And they did lead to my favorite joke, which is, are these auto-erotica?
That's right.
With Gennaro.
Yes.
I love that. Like watching him fumble for the words and then come out with autoerotica.
Yeah. And you're just shaking your head like,
Yeah.
oh, wow.
Just showing how little he understands about what he's getting into.
He tried. So, of course, this brings us to iconic props, which obviously every movie, I think, spoofed the water
The
cup
impact
on
trimmer, yeah.
in some way, shape, or form. I think the one that sticks out most to me is Wayne's World. Did it in the
Wayne's World did. They were like in the park or something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. The cool thing is they placed a guitar string under the car's dashboard and were strumming it to make the water, whatever you call it,
yeah,
ripple.
ripple
Yeah.
correctly.
And I guess Spielberg got the idea after seeing his rearview mirror shake to music,
Yes.
which makes sense.
Yeah. And then the guy that had to figure it out had no idea how to make it happen, and he was just kind of joking around and discovered that if he strums a guitar near it, it got the ripple effect he was looking for.
There you go.
So next we'll talk sound design and post-production. Dinosaur voices. The sound designer, Gary Rydstrom, MVP, created unique vocalizations using animal recordings. So he did it for a lot of them, and they went into them, but we're going to mainly focus on the T-Rex and the Raptors. For the T-Rex, he used things like whale breathing and baby elephant screams. He really wanted to give that idea of this creature essentially just breathing. So, when it pans over
Yeah.
and it breathes, like it sniffs and it blows Alan Grant's hat off.
Yes.
That's how they really were like, this is how we're going to portray the T-Rex. For the Raptors, they use walrus and dolphin sounds. And the dolphin sounds are the funniest part because they specifically said dolphins in heat.
Oh my goodness. So that was at
Yeah, yeah. So that was some frustrated dolphins that the velociraptors are patterned after.
Speaking of the breathing, I know this was the raptors, but I loved when they were looking through the porthole
Oh, and it does
of the
the
door,
yeah.
and then he just breathes on
Just
it, and it just fogs up.
that was great. That's
Loved
such a
it.
good scene.
Yes,
Yeah, apparently being in those practical suits though were awful. They had like
I
15
imagine.
minutes. They couldn't breathe. They had to like
Oh,
there was no oxygen inside the rubber suits. It was
had to be hot.
they couldn't see what
Oh,
was going on. So
goodness.
every time I learn more about what it takes to be in those rubber suits, I'm just like, you guys are real heroes.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And
Yeah.
so then we had something called practical foley, which is the practical sounds, right?
Yes, overlaying the sounds in post production. They obviously didn't have the dinosaur noises first, so Spielberg roared through the megaphone, which just made the crew laugh.
I'm
So it didn't
sure.
work out so well, and then they overlaid the actual dinosaur sounds afterwards.
So, the sound of the collapsing visitor center skeletons, which was awesome, was actually bowling pins being knocked over. That reminds me of growing up, we used to go bowling, so
Yeah,
that was nice. It was nice to hear.
that's why I had to include that one because we did love bowling when we were growing up.
Yes.
So collaboration, obviously Spielberg loves working with George Lucas. Spielberg literally flew to Poland right after this movie to go work on Schindler's List, so he had to have some other people run post-production. Sounds like it was hell on him because he
Yeah.
had to like review dailies for
Yeah.
Jurassic Park and fly all over the place and try to make as many decisions as he could while also doing Schindler's List, which was just emotionally draining.
But both got Oscars.
Yes, yeah.
So,
I mean, it paid off, but it also made him take 4 years off. So
goodness, in the same year, what was he thinking?
yeah. Well, so the word is that he had to do Jurassic Park to do Schindler's List.
Okay,
It was a one for them, one for him kind of thing.
got it.
But yeah, so while he was working on Schindler's List, obviously Kathleen Kennedy was helping a lot as well, but George Lucas oversaw the film post-production at Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's got to be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bros. So then we have our on-set stories and challenges. There's always challenges. The character details. There wasn't a formal costume designer, which surprised me. So Jeff Goldblum, being Jeff Goldblum, added the leather jacket for the rock star look, which totally works for him.
Yes, yeah.
And then John Hammond dressed in white to evoke a deity-like presence, which, yeah.
Yeah. Deity-like, clean. We were
Yeah.
talking about it before. Everybody around him was dirty in some way, but he was not. And he probably had smooth hands because he probably never worked a real day in his life.
I mean, he was a millionaire, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. I know we didn't write it down here, but Tim did pattern his look after Alan Grant.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, if you look at his outfit, it is like Alan Grant light.
Okay. All right.
I'm just throwing that out there because we talked about, Alan Grant becoming kind of like a father figure to
Yeah.
him and how much he wanted him to like him. I think it really fits that they chose to pattern the look. And then we'll talk about location. So this film was shot in Hawaii on the island of Kauai. Hopefully that's how it's spelled or how it's said. I'm sorry if it's not. They built the sets on the Valley House Plantation Estate, including the visitor center and emergency bunker. What's cool about this island is it's a return for Spielberg because this is where they shot the Peruvian jungle at the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark. There was actually a on-scene disaster, Hurricane Iniki, which was a massive hurricane. I think it was the worst that Hawaii has ever seen. Hit literally second to last day that they were shooting in Kauai. They had to bunker down. The cast and crew were terrified. Sir Richard Attenborough was able to sleep through the storm because he lived through the London Blitz of the Germans in World War II.
Okay.
So he's like, this is nothing to
Yeah.
me. They didn't know how they were going to get out. Kathleen Kennedy, if you read this book, she was a real hero. She hiked, she did everything she could to get to the airport so that way she could try to get these people out in time. She notified everybody's families to let them know they were okay. She was a real hero. And I say that because I know people have feelings about Kathleen Kennedy for Star Wars, but she has had a long storied career as a producer and she does everything she can to make sure Spielberg's visions happens. There'd be no Amblin without her. So
Okay.
we need to respect her. But crazy story. Probably the craziest thing I learned about this movie while I was reading this book. She got to the airport trying to figure out how am I going to get these people out of Kauai. And she sees a pilot that talks to her. And it is the person that played Jock at the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And he says, I'll fly you in. They had to fly in medical supplies for Kauai as a deal to be able to be allowed to fly in and out.
Right.
They got all the actors out. While this was happening, Jock was humming the Raiders theme as he flew the crew to safety.
Love it.
Insane. I had never heard this before. This is probably the craziest thing I learned about this movie, and I love it.
So, of course, visual effects. As we know, Steven Spielberg's first interaction with digital effects was the attempt to create the mothership in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which Didn't happen. It wasn't.
No,
No,
it's
no.
still a little bit early.
Kudos to him for trying. Steve Spaz Williams and Mark Dupe secretly created the T Rex's CGI model without anyone's knowledge. That is fascinating because when Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall, they were ambushed by this because they didn't know it existed yet. And so it was playing while they were walking through ILM.
Yes, which is Industrial Light and Magic.
Yes, which is
prolific effects company that is owned by George Lucas.
George Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you imagine walking in and just seeing this dinosaur?
Yeah, just on like out of the corner of your eye, you
Yeah.
just see something that's going to change the world forever.
Spielberg's only note was that the T-Rex seemed too light during the initial design, so he had them add the feel of muscles and flesh. And this was the CGI part
Yeah,
that they're talking about? Okay.
yeah. Because the hardest thing about CGI, I think, in those days was just to give weight to the creations. You need to add those systems, like the muscles and the skin and everything.
The T-Rex is very heavy, so obviously it's not going to look like it's...
I mean, you remember when they used the practical effect feet? It stepped down in front of
Yes.
Alan and Lexi, and you see it sink into the mud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
That gives you that feel of this is a
Oh,
big
he's
creature,
heavy.
like
Yeah.
more than just seeing it out and about.
So ILM, we've talked a lot about, was put in charge of creating the stampede of Gallimimus because the stop motion could not be used. They created one model and cloned it with subtle changes to create the flock.
Yeah, I heard shooting this scene, and this was the only scene that was left on island, so they flew to a different island to finish it. This scene, they kind of just told the actors to go crazy, and then they would just place the because there was no way they were going to be able to track where everything was going to be at the time. So they're like, just go crazy. We'll put them in later. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they did great. It seemed like that they were there.
They did the wheeling. It felt like they were in danger of being trampled.
But yeah, isn't that when he said, "Oh, they wheel just like
wheeling, just like a herd," and they're like, they're herding towards us. We need to get out of here."
Be impressed later. Come on. So ILM performed the first on-screen digital face replacement in the scene where Lex is dangling out of the ventilation shaft before the raptor attacks. I didn't even
I had
notice.
No idea.
So
I've never known this detail.
Yeah.
Like that's insane because you look at digital face replacements now and you're just like, oh, what have you done? So for them to be able to seamlessly do this in a shot where she is swinging around,
and it was a stunt double.
Yeah, is crazy.
And they put Ariana Richards' face on the stunt double. That's amazing. So so then the first CGI shot ILM sent during post-production while Michael Kahn, yes, we love Michael Kahn, editor, and Steven Spielberg worked on Schindler's List was the Brachiosaurus scene, which blew the two away. Which
they knew that this was going to be a hit.
Think about Steven, what was it, 70, Close Encounters?
77.
77, right? He was upset, wasn't he, that he couldn't create the mothership with the CGI and everything.
Yeah. I mean, he's always trying to push technology as much as he can.
So I can imagine him seeing this scene and just like, wow. Because we said wow when we saw the Brachiosaurus scene.
This movie didn't pioneer CGI, but it practically did.
Yeah.
Because of everything it did. We've seen CGI in like T2 that came out in 91, The Abyss. Like James Cameron was the one that first started using it and people started seeing it, but it was in a more static environment. This is where you started seeing CGI can move and the world can move around it. Yeah. And we have that technology. So that's why this movie is considered the forefather of CGI, is because it just blew it up in a way that you would never have expected. I mean, look at where it was today. Look at Thanos in Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like you could tell if you touch his skin, you'd feel something.
Right?
It's insane where we've gone, given proper time to the visual effect artists with this technology. And this is the movie that really started bringing that to the forefront.
So talk about our friend Phil Tippett.
Yes. So Phil Tippett, when I said this is kind of the bummer part. So his go motion technique was replaced by CGI. Tippett remarked that he felt he had gone extinct. Spielberg found this statement so impactful that he actually had David Cope include a version of it in the dialogue. Ian Malcolm says it when the paleontologists are like, I don't know what we're going to do now. And I guess this is over. And he's like, don't you mean extinct? So great scene, but it's just such a shame that it happened, that he had to essentially, everything he knew was changing.
Yeah.
He was a dinosaur. He was getting left behind. But to his credit and his integrity, and I admire him for this, despite the shift in technology, he still remained on the project to assist animators in achieving realistic dinosaur movement using puppets, and he also even brought in a mime to mimic things for them so they understood the movements.
Nice.
So he still found a way to be able to help this film instead of just walking away from it entirely, and I'm so impressed by that. And I believe that he's directed stop motion movies since then. But yeah, he's continued his career. He's found ways to be able to still be relevant, and this shoot ended 12 days ahead of schedule. which is a far cry from the production of Hook
Wow.
and Jaws
In 1941.
in 1941. A lot of his other stuff, he went right to Schindler's List after this.
Yeah.
So he had no breaks.
All right, so now we're going to do my favorite part, the musical marvel, with our friend John Williams. So he wanted a cartoonish sound for the raptor attack in the kitchen. He placed red herrings in the orchestration itself. What we decided that red herrings meant was just is a certain type of music that leads you to think, oh, this is a happy time. And then boom, they pivot to
Yeah. Or nothing
darker
happens.
piece,
Yeah.
or nothing happens. Yeah.
Just to take you along this journey.
This 19-year partnership that Williams had with Spielberg, he really put a lot of the other films into this.
Mhm.
So he did the Jaws theme for the raptor attack. Journey to the Island, I'm guessing, is when they were in the helicopter.
That's
Okay.
a do-do-do-do-do.
Yes.
do-do-do.
So it was, you could hear a little bit of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And the theme from Jurassic Park, I can imagine them going through the gates.
Mhm.
Is that when they play this one?
Yeah, it's probably the do.
Yeah. So, projecting on gravitas, like Close Encounters of the Third Kind and E.T. I really love how John Williams just kind of pulls from different movies,
Mhm.
and he makes it work. I mean, sometimes you'll be like, I think we heard that in Jaws, but it's like momentary. Because I remember we were like, did we just hear that? Yeah, it was there, and then it's gone. So maybe that's the red herrings too.
So now we'll just talk about some miscellaneous stuff, but not as much for miscellaneous this time. Creative changes. Spielberg chose a Triceratops over the book Stegosaurus for the scene where it was a sick dino. And that was a tribute to Ray Harryhausen films, which most people probably know from Clash of the Titans in the early 80s. He did a lot of stop motion monsters and dinosaurs and things like that. And he requested the Dilophosaurus spit to be changed from the yellow-green they were using to black to avoid comparisons to The Exorcist.
Good.
They said it looked like the pea soup scene.
Yeah, no, we don't like that. So I do remember seeing Clash of the Titans, and it was, to me at the time, it was very well done.
Yeah.
With Medusa. Very cool. When you told me that, so then we had an alternate ending with and narrator. So an alternate ending was storyboarded, showing John Hammond stranded as the last helicopter departs. So it sounds like that was kind of what the book, right?
Yeah, so I actually love the idea of this alternate ending.
Mhm.
It doesn't fit the movie that we were creating, but the idea of arrogant John Hammond, thought that he could control nature, being left behind on the island,
Yep.
stuck with his creations. I really love that idea. So when I read about this, I was really intrigued by it. It doesn't fit well with the movie we're trying, because the movie's trying to end on a lighthearted note.
Yeah.
So that's why obviously like Hammond didn't get killed like
Yeah.
he did in the book, and I think that would have been such a good melancholic way for it to end.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I could see that. And like you said, this was a more magical. I mean, there was a lot of horror, but it was magical. I feel like it was well balanced.
Yeah, it was. There were
So-
times you were scared, but there were also times that
Yeah.
you were just lost in the moment.
Definitely. And then James Earl Jones was actually considered for the role of narrator. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
When they're on the tour.
Mhm.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
It would have been cool because I don't know who Richard Kiley is.
I don't either.
So every time they say that, like it's a big name, I feel like I'm missing something.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, James Earl Jones would have been really cool. Obviously, this is well into his voice acting career. This would have been right before Lion King as Mufasa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? And on your right, here's the Triceratops. I just love his voice in general.
Yeah.
So,
I can see why it doesn't fit though, because like Richard Kiley had more of an adventurous tone of voice.
True.
So he'd be like, if you look to your right, like with James Earl Jones, there's a lot of gravitas
Yeah,
and
so
presence. So it'd be like, if you look to your right,
Yeah, right.
it would have probably not gotten you lost in the moment like Richard Kiley did. So I understand, but also, yeah, I love James Earl Jones, so I'm just cool with anything.
But you're right. It would have overpowered the scene
Mhm.
because I would have been too busy listening to him rather than seeing what was going on.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's exactly what Spielberg tried to avoid with the actor choice. All right, so some actor anecdotes that they talked about. Sam Neill actually got burned during the flare scene. Piece of phosphorus got jammed under his arm or his watch, and he actually did get a burn from
Wow.
it. So this whole flare scene did inspire Ian Malcolm to use the flare as well. That wasn't written in the script. He
no.
was just going to run away, and then he said, well, what if I just have the flare as well? And it shows like my inability in the situation to think I can help. And then he doesn't. And that makes sense too, because he like starts the flare in the car.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't know what you're doing, dude.
And I think, didn't Alan like, what are you doing?
He's like, Ian, freeze, as he is running, because he runs after he throws the flare.
Yeah.
I think that's a really cool way to show different levels of knowledge.
Mhm.
This guy thinks he's trying to help, and he's noble in a way, but also at the same time, he's an idiot in the situation.
Yeah, making it worse. Oh, well.
And then Laura Dern in the London premiere actually sat next to Muhammad Ali, and who told her that the film scared him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Wow. So then there was a technical Easter egg during the T-Rex attack on our friend Donald Gennaro. A digital double of the T-1000, which is from Terminator 2,
Which
was
these people
used.
worked on before this. Yeah.
Exactly. Was part of the pioneering of the CGI, as you
Yes,
said
yeah.
before, technically putting Robert Patrick in the movie. I wonder if he got credited.
No, he didn't get
Oh,
credited.
come on.
But the guy told him he was in it.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah. Because it's so fast, you'll never know. But
I know.
He's just like, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to put him in there. In the next episode of As the Jurassic World Turns, Alan finds eggshells in the park and realizes that some of the female dinosaurs have changed into males and begun breeding. Does this count as a violation of the scientist's vision? Will Alan be able to stop the breeding, or will he have to leave his precious Jurassic Park forever? Tune in and find out. All right, now that we've talked about what's on the screen behind the scenes, let's talk about what makes it all happen, which is the money and milestones. Money. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yep.
Money and milestones, which is our Sandcastles in the Sand segment. First things first, we're going to talk box office numbers. So, Jurassic Park, on a budget of $63 million. It grossed originally $914 million worldwide, beating, I believe, E.T. was still the front runner at that time. This eclipsed E.T. Spielberg, according to Wikipedia, reportedly earned over $250 million for this film. Its record gross was surpassed in 1998 by Titanic, the first film to gross over $1 billion.
James Cameron.
Yeah. And he would continue to make more and more
Yep.
with the Avatar series. This movie's been re-released so many times. It's now made over $1 billion. I know I've seen it in theaters because of a re-release. We went and saw it in Jurassic Park in concert just a few months ago.
Yeah.
Anytime it comes up, we try to go and see it. So it's still making money.
Of course.
And this franchise is still making money. I mean, Jurassic World Rebirth that came out last year still won the summer versus Superman and Fantastic Four. It was like third or fourth, I think, in box office.
Okay.
So there's still money to be made. All the Jurassic World movies made over $1 billion. So very profitable. So continue expecting to see more of these.
Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah. TV show had, I think, like 5 seasons, and then they did a sequel series for After Dominion. Also ran for like 3 or 4 seasons. So
And don't forget about the yellow lunchbox.
the yellow lunchbox,
Yes.
And you packaged it, and you slapped your stickers on it.
Exactly.
And you sold it, and you sold it, and you sold it.
And you were too busy thinking if he could.
Yeah, I never thought if he should.
Yeah.
It made, like 15 times its budget.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It was number 1 box office for 1993, obviously.
Number 2 was like way below.
Yeah. There was just nothing else had a shot. So for the domestic box office for June of 1993, when this movie was released, Jurassic Park, obviously number 1. Total gross was $357 million domestically, still actually second behind E.T.
Okay.
So it didn't beat E.T. domestically, but internationally it was such a success that it just far eclipsed E.T.
Okay.
Number 2 was a movie called Cliffhanger, which grossed $84 million overall.
Sylvester Stallone.
Okay.
Yeah.
A Last Action Hero, which is Schwarzenegger, right?
Yes.
Yes. That one was number 3, $50 million. Made in America, not sure what that is.
Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson.
Okay. That came $44 million. And then Sleepless in Seattle, $126 million. Came out June 25th. That rounds out that 5. Jurassic Park and Sleepless in Seattle are probably the 2 biggest movies that are still around today.
That's true.
Yeah, with staying power.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the budgets. Let's go ahead and look at the awards. So the drought is over, everybody. The 2 movie drought that we had. Jurassic Park was nominated for 3 awards. It won 3 awards.
Yes, finally.
It won Best Visual Effects,
Of course.
Best Sound,
Yes.
Best Sound Effects Editing.
Okay.
All making sense. All technical awards, which, makes sense because you know what it was against?
What?
Schindler's List.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. Okay.
Which was nominated for, I think, everything else.
Okay. He finally got his moment in the sun.
He did. He got his Best Picture. He got his Best Director.
Yeah.
Right, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but
Of course.
it won. It also won a lot. So collectively, his films won 10 Academy Awards in '93.
That was insane, especially, 2 movies in basically 1 year.
2 notable movies.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell us some of the reviews.
Okay. So our good friend Roger Ebert reviewed this, and he said, clear seeing this long-awaited project that Spielberg devoted most of his effort to creating the dinosaurs. The human characters are a ragtag bunch of half-realized, sketched-in personalities who exist primarily to scream, utter dire warnings, and outwit the monsters. I'm guessing he liked the dinosaurs, but
Yes.
the humans
Yeah.
not so much.
It's fight on sight, Ebert. Next time I see you.
He might be dead. I
I'm
don't
pretty sure
know.
he is, but it's still fight on sight.
Brave words.
Yeah. I'll go to heaven and I'll beat him up.
As I said last episode, our friend Pauline Kael retired, which makes me sad because I always enjoyed seeing what she had to say. I did find someone else named Dwayne Burge, and he said, "The well-selected cast is winningly sympathetic and entertainingly idiosyncratic. Attenborough is terrific as the exuberant but overreaching entrepreneur, while Goldblum is deliciously vainglorious as the devil's advocate. Neil, Dern, and the kids, Mazzello and Richards, win our affections and wonderfully epitomize the wondrous spirit and transcendent belief that shines through this often horrific entertainment, that life will find a way."
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. That's really good.
And of course, my favorite, the Rotten Tomatoes. 91% on the tomato meter, 91% on the popcorn meter.
Look at that.
I've never seen them line up like that.
All right. Well, to round it out, we're going to go ahead and do a letterbox review.
Woo!
So this movie's a 5-star.
Obviously.
Yeah. My review. Look, man, I don't care if I get eaten by dinosaurs. I just want to go to this park.
Agreed. It has to be on coupon day.
Yeah, it does have to be on coupon day. But people always tell me, th're like, aren't you afraid? And I was like, I know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
I know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I'm still going.
I'm signing the waiver. I don't care.
What do you mean?
I want to go hang out with the Brachiosaurus. And,
Yeah. If you want to follow me on Letterboxd, it's Birch94, BURCH.
Not like the tree.
Please, like I said, I always do little dumb reviews for movies that I've seen, and I'm always watching a whole lot of different things. All right, so let's go ahead and do our rankings. I think my ranking is going to be pretty obvious, so why don't you go ahead and tell us your ranking first?
So Indiana Jones and Last Crusade is first. E.T. second. Indiana Jones and Raiders Lost Ark third. Jaws. And then Jurassic Park.
Okay, acceptable.
Yep. The Color Purple. Duel. Temple of Doom. Always. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Sugarland Express. Hook. Empire of the Sun. And 1941.
All right, so for me, obviously Jurassic Park is number one, and it will be number one.
Can't believe it beat Jaws.
I know. Obviously, it's going to beat Jaws. I will say Jaws is a good contender, though.
Okay.
I'll say. I mean, the two most perfect films and two of my favorite films. But Jurassic Park is dinosaurs. Next is Last Crusade, then Raiders, E.T., The Color Purple, Duel, Temple of Doom, Close Encounters, Sugarland Express, Hook, Always, Empire of the Sun, and 1941. We are up to 14 movies now.
Wow.
Yeah, we're making our way through. Next week will be Schindler's List, so that will be draining, I'm sure.
Yes, but a good.
Yes, yeah. I'm excited to watch it. I mean, I know it's going to be a heavy content material, and as always, we will try to be as respectful as possible, talking about events that are, they have a lot more weight to them than dinosaurs go roar. It's a movie I've never seen, so it will be an interesting first watch. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Jurassic Park. I know it's long, just love it.
There's so too much stuff.
Yeah,
you just can't.
It's just a marvel. Even if it was just like with Jaws.
Yeah.
We love that film, but we were able to keep it brief because even though it pioneered things, not like Jurassic Park did. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, I love this movie so much, even the franchise as a whole, even though some, they have some dips. Like I own this movie, I think the first three, I own it in VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K. It's near and dear to my heart. So I hope you enjoyed this. It'll be interesting to go through The Lost World and see what information we find out about that one. But just to finish it out, don't forget to go and give us a 5-star review on your podcast player of choice, and we'll read it here on the air. If you're on YouTube, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Tell your friends. We're always trying to get more people to listen to our podcast, listen to us ramble on, just see all the work that we put into this. So I hope you had a great time with it. I'll leave you with my Spielberg quote as a goodbye. Through amazing stories and unforgettable characters, like Jurassic Park, we're introduced to these incredible worlds we only dare imagine, and in the process, we discover ourselves. This is Tyler, signing off.
And this is Crystal, and don't forget to notice the purple.